Hello, this is Ohavia Phillips.
And I'm Dennis Reed.
And as members of Charlotte's Black community, we're proud to call the Queen City home.
And with Charlotte Love Notes, we're sharing our love story and spotlighting the Black-owned businesses that make this city so special.
That's right, the restaurants, shops, and more that we love and express the craft and culture of Charlotte's Black community.
So head to charlottesgotalot.com to see our love notes and plan your trip.
And show your love to the community that inspires us.
Welcome to Scarlets Fever, the home of Saucepan Central and Westerer is Besterer.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Scarlets Fever with me, Lee G, and joining me as always is the awesome crime-fighting duo of Big M and Catboy. Good evening, gents.
Evening.
Evening.
So we just spent the last 10 minutes trying to work out who's got the worst signal this evening, me or Martin. So tonight may take a lot of editing and may not be out for a couple of days by the time we get through it, depending on whose signal drops how many times tonight. But
it'll be out before the Benetton game. We can promise that.
yeah. Can't promise the Wales-France game. So how's your week been anyway, gents? What have you been up to?
I haven't really done anything. I'm going on holiday on Wednesday, going to Marbella.
Nice.
Ooh, how long?
Well, yeah, I should have told you this before we start recording, really. So I can't do next week.
Okay, there we go then. That's next week sorted. So are you, right, on holiday, are you skin tight Speedos or big floppy Bermudas?
Big floppy Bermudas. Actually, I'm a bit cursed when it comes to swimming trunks. I always forget to pack them. So I've got swimming trunks from all over the world because I always have to buy another pair when I get there because I always forget them. And I keep telling the girlfriend, sell them on Vinted because I'll just sell them all on Vinted and I'll just keep buying another one. You can keep selling them on Vinted. But apparently she doesn't want to do that. So I've got a cupboard full of swimming trunks.
Well, I don't think second-hand swimwear goes down very well in the world, but...
No, Vinted, you can sell anything. I've only worn like twice.
People do buy all sorts of shit on Vinted, I've been told that.
So we've got touched by Catboy twice trunks.
Exactly.
Sounds good.
When I go on holiday, I always make a point of putting my mankini on top of the thing, just when the wife's doing the packing and all of that, and just go, have we got this? Have we got this? Have we got this? Go, yeah, all of my stuff's in. And I leave my mankini on top, just as see how long it's going to take it to wind her up, and you're not wearing that. And I'm like, yeah, I've got a selection of them now. I've got a selection of mankinis. Genuinely have got a selection of mankinis. Neither of you sound
You'll have to wear one next week.
Who says I'm not wearing one now? I've got a snow mankini.
Take a pick up.
So no, I've got a snow mankini. I've got an elf mankini, and I've got like the classic Borat mankini as well.
Oh, nice.
People just keep buying them for me. I don't know why, but
You like wearing them, I think.
I think it's funny when the mother-in-law comes around for Sunday lunch, and I'm just gonna, and then you come down in the mankini. I don't see an issue with that, but apparently everyone else does. Anyway, how was rugby on the weekend for you, gents?
Thunder was great.
Go on, let's talk Thunder. Go on, talk, because I didn't see it, which is a bugbear of mine that it's not on easy to access platforms. So
it was absolutely awesome. If you take the first game of the season and just switch the team's jerseys, and that's more or less how it went. Thunder were on Thunder. It was unreal.
They were fantastic. Every time they got in the first half, in particular, every time they got the ball, wherever it was on the pitch, you thought they were going to score. Was it 4 first half tries? The kicking from hand is come on leaps and bounds. In the first game, like Martin said, Lightning was shoving us backwards like nobody's business. Completely the other way around this game. So that's credit to Ashley Beck. So who else is involved in the Thunder, who I didn't realise was involved in the under-18s as well? Phil Price was
Really?
was on gate with the ward being the water boy and everything. So I think were Phil Price to be made head coach of the Scarlets, we'd probably win the league, even from where we are in the table now.
Yeah, he's not listed in anything because I've got the full backroom staff. But yeah, we got Ashley Beck, Rodri Jones, Liza Burgess, Chris Tom, Dan Lewis, Daryl Morgan, Ollie Kitchen. No Phil Price mentioned. I think the best part about was around 70th minute mark. What do you say?
Oh yeah, with the drop goal.
It was awesome.
Absolutely sensational.
It was sweet as well, straight through the posts.
Yeah.
And the best thing is, it was planned.
Yes.
She literally came out after. I said, I'm having a drop goal.
It wasn't Phil Price, it's Phil John.
Yeah, that's
Phil
why.
John.
Yeah, the prop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Phil Price is somebody very different.
Come on.
Yeah, apologies.
Well, they're both loose heads.
Yeah. Both Scarlet's props. But Phil.
Yeah, but very different people.
Anyway. All right. Well, Phil John was there.
I met Paul John once in Tenby. Paul John, the Cardiff scrum half, who was doing he was doing the Car 10, the cycle ride, while he was coaching Cardiff, and he was cycling back up. It was on a Sunday morning. He was cycling back up to the Scarlets Cardiff game internationally, and I saw him there because he came out of the hotel next door to me, and I went, "Oh, you're that rugby guy, Phil John," and he looked at me and he went, "Paul John, I'm Paul John," and I went, "Oh." I don't think he was as impressed as Phil John would have been, He was.
Well, I'm just on the subject of rugby names. Our backline the weekend was Jones, Evans, James, Williams, Lewis, Nicholas. Kind of ruined it at the end. Could have got another Jones in there if we'd have tried. Anyway, back to talking about the Thunder. Phil John. Yeah, and Shona Harris, drop goal to sign off a career. What way to finish? Got a try as well. How many tries did we finish on? It was 30 points to 5. 5 tries. Because it was bucketing down in the second half.
Oh, it looked terrible on screen. But, saying that I'm going to kick it as a place kicking isn't exactly the best. Well,
no, but none of them is.
Like one conversion from 5, And a few of them were quite close to the post as well. But, that's always something to work on. You've got something to improve. But one thing that has impressed me in the whole league is the fact that you go from 3rd, 4th, 5th. They've all won the same amount of games. This is highly competitive. And second place was at Edinburgh. They had 2 draws. They get that 1 extra point in both of those games, and they're champions. It's so fine margins, which makes it more exciting. I just wish there was another set of fixtures. 8 games isn't enough.
I got really into it now. I'm properly emotionally invested as well. Like when we were scoring against Gwali, I was like, yes, get in. So yeah, I've really enjoyed it. And like Mark said, the difference across, what is it, 6, 7 games?
Well, it's 7 games over 8 rounds, but it's been a few gap weeks in there as well.
Yeah, but the progression has just been absolutely sensational. It's like watching a different team.
Cool. Okay, well, we'll probably come back to the women's game at another point because we've got quite a few followers this week. We do talk about the women's game a fair bit, but you made a big we try, yeah. But I'll let you put a couple of posts out on social media this week, and we've gained quite a few followers who want to talk about the women's game, which is encouraging. So now that we've done, we've dangled the fish there for dangled the worm for the women's game. Mart, let's talk about the community game. Let's go in a completely different direction, and you can do your community game rundown. Let's do that.
Well, it's been a really, really happy week for me in the community because, as we know, this is a Llandovery podcast now. We changed a few weeks back, and obviously they were in the semi-final of the WRU Premiership Cup. Stupid names added all the time. Down at Aberafan against Ebbw Vale. You know, they've played each other twice in the league. Ebbw 1-1, Drovers 1-1. This was the big game. This was the decider. And Drovers won here inside 20 minutes. I mean, they were 29-0 up, and the game was just dead and buried. It finished 43-7, so they're sailing through to the final. But, oh my God.
Did they ever put a proper team out?
Well, they're missing a lot of boys from the Wales under-20s. You know, Harry Thomas is a big one who's been starting all season over Taylor Davis. It is astounding to me that they're losing boys. Like, they lost a lot of boys to the Scarlets when we played Exeter, and they ran out and done exactly the same. There doesn't seem to be any drop in intensity or performance, regardless of what 20 or 23 goes out on the pitch. It's astounding to me how good they are, and they really have put Ebbw Vale in their place, if I'm going to be honest, because they are, well, they were the main contenders up to a point. Now it's looking to be Newport, but you can't argue with that. I mean, 20 minutes to win a game. I mean, technically speaking, you could have said their second try won the game, but you know that's not the point. It was dead and buried before that halftime whistle blew. So 43-7 was the result in the end. And to our other favourite team in the championship, they were in league action. Carmarthen Quins at home to Aberafan.
Premiership,
my bad. See, it's so confusing, all these different names all the time. So our favourite Premiership side. Oh, I forgot to mention Jack Davis, who's one of the academy boys with Llandovery. He's got 2 tries. It's not too bad. But back to the Quins. And they've had a bit of a curse this season. Whenever Charlie Titcombe doesn't play, they lose. And that curse has been firmly thrown in the dirt, stamped on, had a fire lit on top of it, and then a few more things we shouldn't really say. 56-17. I'm stumped for words. This is just an incredible performance. Aberafan's biggest loss of the season. And obviously, we're at the back end now. They've played everyone. I have no idea where this performance came from. I have no idea why it's taken so long to come through. But Carmarthen Quins, you keep this up. Christ, you'll be winning the EDC next year. It'll be you with Llandovery at the top, and I'd love to see that.
yes.
Only 2 of our boys involved, which was Iestyn William and Lewis Morgan. If we go down now into the championship, we had a few more boys involved from the academy. I'll run through them quick. We had Harry Fuller with Newcastle Emlyn, Ollie Close with Ammanford, and we had Alfie Evans Fetchy and Iestyn Wood with Crymych. Now, on to the results. Crymych won 29-13 at home to Tata Steel. Narberth won 47-10 at home to Ammanford. Now, a big result, 37-point win. But I think it was about 25 minutes before the first score went in. So, well done to Ammanford. They really put up one hell of a fight against, the main juggernaut in this league. Newcastle Emlyn, they trickled over. They won 21-17 away to Trebanos. And Llangennych, as Llangennych do, they won 48-15 away to Ystadllefaera. Down in One West, Aberystwyth won 20-15 at home to Felinfol. Gosainon won 59-31 at home to Hendy. Kidwelly beat Whitland 29-21, and Buryport won away to Pencloud 33-19. Brynhaman had a game in One West Central, but it was postponed. Over into Two West, United just lost out 11-17 at home to Mumbles. Carmarthen Athletic pulled out a bit of a shock, winning 26-19 at Lampeter. Lacha, as we all know, we hate Lacha.
No one.
They were pushed right. They pushed right to the line by Fishguard. 2014 it finished. That game could have gone either way. And why can't we just get a little? Someone just give Lacha a punch in the teeth. We'd be right. St Clair's won 2011 at home to Pontevedra, and another good result for Pontevedra. They didn't pick up any bonus points, but league leaders, they've been running away with it more or less. So to keep them within 2 scores is good for Pontevedra, considering the relegation places. Milford almost came up with another shock. Tenby just beating them at home 13-10. Final game to Christ won 27-7 at home to Nancaredig. Down into 3 West A. Cardigan won 25-5 at home to Pembroke. Pembroke Dock Quinn won 11-5 at home to Neyland. St David's won 32-7 at home to Llanybydr. Binia lost 18-25 at home to Llandybie. This one is just for you. New Dock Stars 39, Furnace 16. Hooray!
Hooray!
The last game then, Betos won 15-9 away to Trimsaran. The final game was postponed, which was Tumble v Cefnathan, proper Gwendraeth Valley derby. And so this game will now be the very last game of 3 West B to decide the title. So this just gets tastier and tastier, and I'm loving it. Into 5 West Central, just the one game. Pennebank winning 27-10 at home to Pantavannan. Now we're into the proper cup rugby. We've got lots of it to do. Okay. The Division 1 semi-final, Llanelli Wanderers won 7-5 against Baxtein, 15 against Mountain Ash. The Division 3 Cup quarter-final between Larne and Brinkethyn was postponed. That's hopefully going to go ahead this Saturday, as the final is fast approaching, and we've got to get through a quarter-final and a semi-final before that. Down into the Division 4, Connacht beat Major 28-26, but there was a bit of a scuffle after the fact. I don't know if any of you boys have seen, but I don't know whether it was fans or players, but it was a bit of a fight after the fact, so I'm not sure exactly what was said or what went on, but someone wasn't happy. And the other semi-final, Newport Saracens won 12-8 against New Panteg. In Division 5, Comturk lost 28-29 against Dennis Powys. And Seven Sisters 41-10 against Ruth in seconds. So congratulations to all them teams. They will be heading to the Principality Stadium for their final.
Unless
down into the youth section. So down into the youth section now. Youth Cup semi-finals. Llandailo won 29-20 against Penlan Dunvan. So got a team youth final, happy days. In the plate, we had Bargoed winning 32-16 against Eduvale. Carmarthen Athletic winning 28-0 against Ruthin. Well done to Athletic, they're through to the semis. And bowl quarter-final, Gowerton beat Abercynon 24-10. That is all my results. There are a lot. There's a full round of fixtures coming this week. So check them out. Pontypool against Llandovery is being televised on S4 Rec. So I think that
those are almost never on telly.
Well, you know, they are now. So we're happy.
Pontypool have just sacked all their. Oh no, I'm thinking of Pontypridd.
Pontypridd,
yeah. We could talk about that, but nah. We'll post all the fixtures up. Well, I will anyway. But yeah, there's a massive full round. There's a few more cup matches to go through, especially Larne. Fingers crossed. You know, we could do with another team in a final, but there we've got Llandovery and Llanelli Wanderers at a minute. But you know, a third one would be nice. You know, I'd like to have a region to go to both days.
So yeah, I started a couple of weeks ago doing a Griff Grump, and I forgot to do it. I wasn't here for a week, and then I forgot to do it last week. So yeah, so I just wanted to kind of complain about some stuff, because I think it's good to get it off your chest. And so I get stuff about kind of like people who think that rugby players are idiots and dickheads and all that kind of stuff. And I try and stand there, and I try and stand up from. And then I took my daughter to hockey last week. So it was raining, it's wet. So I look out onto my local pitch, and they haven't been able to train on that pitch for like about 3 weeks. It's still standing water. There's still standing water on that pitch now. The other day there were ducks on there. That's genuinely, there's a puddle on the 22, and there were ducks in the puddle. Okay, so training up on the AstroTurf, and they split it into rugby boys one side, hockey girls the other. Not a problem with that at all. Lovely jubbly. So before they start, and it's quite rainy, and you turn up, and you can see all the hockey people just slotting into parking spaces, lovely jubbly. And then a bunch of arseholes turned up and just decided, fuck that, I'm parking wherever I want. They were up on the grass, they were on the zebra crossing, they were covering like 2 or 3. So instead of going in on a, here's where the parking, no, they were parking across. So they had 3 so they could watch their boy training. Under 9s, under 10s, whatever it was, they were only little ones. And I just thought, do you know what, this is where the issue is if you're that arrogant that you're not prepared to even just park in a parking space because you want a better view of your under 9s or under 10s son messing around with a ball on the pitch. It really pissed me off, just the complete lack of consideration for other people. And there are quite a few dads in the hockey club that, we used to play. We used to play against each other. We used to play with each other, all that kind of stuff. And so tournament on Sunday, and that was the topic of conversation, was, what a bunch of arseholes to park like that, and how inconsiderate. And this is ex-players, and we're just, and there's an attitude problem with some people within the game that goes, well, I'm a rugby player in Wales, so I hold a certain place. You don't. You have to earn that. You have to earn that respect. You have to earn that right to say to people, do you know what, I play for my local club, and that's something that you earn by being a decent human being, not being a prize dickhead when it's pissing down and everybody's annoyed, and you go, do you know what, up yours, I'm going to go and do what I wanted. It's not like there could have been 1 or 2 clubs, but everybody that was there was in their full training kit with the club logo on. Everybody knew who was training on that pitch. So it's not like, you're there, you're representing the club, you're representing the game. You're not just representing the club anymore, you're representing the game, and you're being a dickhead. So stop it, because it pisses me off and it pisses off other people. And I'm very pro rugby, apart from when people are being arseholes. And if you're an arsehole, I'll tell you you're being an arsehole. So that's my grump of the week. I just needed to get it off my chest.
I do a grump.
Go on, Em.
Griffin's grump. So I've had my say about the Scarlets Twitter before, but I'm going to focus on a particular thing. And like I said before, if the Twitter admin is also the boot person, and it's not their only job, if they're like got a main other job and they also do the Twitter on the side, I understand that, it's fine. It's not the execution, it's the decision made that my issue is with. So I'm going to, for audio listeners, I'm going to show the guys a picture. I put this on the WhatsApp before, so you can see that. It might not work with the. So this is the players arriving at the game. To me, I feel qualified to say it. The worst rugby stash in all of rugby is the Castor Grey Scarlets training kit. It is absolutely diabolical.
It's an Ospreys kit.
So they've posted us walking into Connacht with it. The players couldn't look any more miserable. It's spitting, and they just posted it up, and it's like, as fans, how are we supposed to react to that? Are we supposed to be like, oh yeah, there they go? No, it's just depressing. And it's like the highlights they put on of the boys training, I get other people send me them and go, is this your training? Is this why you're so bad? Like, it's
might make sense.
How come we can get someone sent down to the training thing to put together a highlights video, but we can't stream a game against the Barbarians?
Anyway, said it. Just terrible, yeah.
So I'm sorry, Twitter admin, if it's not your main job and you're doing your best, but I've had enough. I've had enough of it, because other fans of not even Welsh regions, but of like Irish clubs are like messaging me going like, "What is going on with your Twitter?"
It's not our Twitter. Let's
Well,
be
with
clear.
Scarlets Twitter.
Like we've heard it from the horse's mouth. We apparently got 3 people employed in the social media department. So
Well, they know, it's like they know what they should be doing. It's because they're putting up the right kind of content. Like, oh, this is the guys arriving at the game. Here's some training shots. It's all the right stuff. It's just, maybe if they weren't wearing that horrible Castor kit, I wouldn't feel so bad about it.
well, maybe if they wrote something to get you engaged.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move swiftly on to Mark. You were going to have a bit of a chat about the Wales 18s.
Yeah, so Wales under 18s, if you didn't know, had a couple games played this past week against Scotland. There were 2 games, a main under 18s and a development under 18s. And surprise, surprise, both won. The mains won 43-10 and the development won 29-22.
It was confusing that there were 2 games.
They've done it for a couple of years. They play like the Reds and Blacks, and then they play, what were they called, the Scottish ones, the Claymores or something like that, the Highlanders and the Claymores or something. But they've done it for a couple of years now. So
yeah, it's a way to get more boys involved, and I'm happy to see it. The more boys involved in higher quality training, if it is higher quality training, that is. We know how good our 18s are. Maybe they could transfer that over. But no, we had quite a few boys involved. Like in the mains, we had Jack Pritchard, Sam Williams, Dom Kossuth. Dom, he's Kid Welly boy, and literally about 14 of his teammates came down to watch the game in Ashton. They posted photos up. They got a minibus in the morning, and they all came down. Bloody awesome support for the boy. Dean Gwynn, Carwyn Jones were all in the starting lineup, and we had Steph and Jack Jones on the bench. For the development, we had Oshan Williams starting. We also had Nathan Davis and Alex Ridgway on the bench. We didn't see Alex Ridgway doing the 18s this year. It is his first year of 18s. So, but I'm expecting he might have been injured because obviously he played, last summer for the 18s, and also he's playing now. So I'm assuming he's had a bit of an injury in between. But one thing I do want to pick up on is obviously 4 tight deads, between the 2 games for Wales. 2 of them from Mynydd Mawr, Jack Pritchard and Nathan Davis. Fair play, they seem to be producing tight deads, and anyone who watched for under 18s this year, they know how props can move, and they're not little. You've heard me talk about them before. They're big boys, but they're mobile units. So fair play, they are destructive, and I want to see more of it. I want to see more of huge tight deads and loose heads just causing havoc around the pitch. I want a Reece Carey who can scrummage. That's it. And I'm happy.
I just need to correct you on one bit, Matt.
What have I done?
Dayan Gwyn.
Dayan
Gwyn.
Yeah, it's got the I in the middle. My bad. I haven't got his first name put on here. I just got Gwyn, so I can remember this. Remember the D. My bad. Sorry, Dayan.
Have we got anything else? Anything like actually from the game? Because obviously,
you know what? There's been about 30 seconds of highlights put up, and that's literally all we've got to do. So there's not much else. We've asked if they're going to put some more highlights up, but we literally got a line out coming down and a pass going out. That's it. That's the only sort of.
But to be fair, that was played at Ystrad Mynach, wasn't it? And it was played at Ystrad Mynach over last weekend, where Ystrad Mynach is like a little bit of the polar circle moved and planted in the middle of Wales, because the place is absolutely frigging freezing. And it was hot the day I was there. Yeah, I've been there a couple of times, and the sun is out, and it's a lovely day, and you're like freezing your nuts off. Absolutely. So what it was like last weekend, I dread to think, because it's cold in the middle of summer there. What it was like last weekend, there must have been ice on the pitch, I'm telling you, because it was not pleasant. It's not a pleasant place to go.
It's all artificial turf up there, but fair play. It is a top-notch, ground. They've got a lovely stand. They've got all the facilities around with the college. So everything is set up perfectly for the Dragons region and the college. I can't remember what college. I think it's Coleg y Cymoedd. I'm not 100%.
Yeah.
But
It's still cold. It's the best used cafe in the whole place because everyone goes here and goes, bugger me, I need a cup of tea.
There's a new cafe opened by me. It's got joke opening hours. Basically, if you've got a job, you can't go. Like,
really?
Yeah, oh my God. So the opening hours of this cafe, I took a picture. So
10 to 4.
Monday to Thursday, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. So you could set your alarm and go, I suppose. Friday, 7:30 a.m. Well, it actually says 7:03 a.m. They haven't done the second zero. But 7:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. Saturday, 8:30 a.m. to noon. Sunday closed. So
Well, that's handy.
So if you wanted a cup of coffee, don't go there.
Well, I think they're obviously targeting a very niche audience. There must be a factory around or something that just literally popped up.
Not in Leamington, there isn't.
Nothing.
Actually, there might be somewhere opposite me, actually. But it's anyway.
Right.
Check if you want highlights of the under-18 games. Check this SIU because if a pigeon lands on a rugby ball in Scotland, the SIU probably live streamed it on YouTube.
Yeah, that is a point actually. Yeah. There was a game against Scotland a couple of years ago that my boy was playing in, and literally, so they came down on the bus 4 or 5 hours, and you could see everyone's family was there, and it's a big, proud moment. You're putting the shirt on the first time. This is brilliant. This is fantastic. First kickoff goes to the prop. He takes it into a ruck, and he busts his ankle. He's come all the way down from Scotland and all that kind of stuff. Literally, it was at first contact went over on his ankle. And my lucky the hospital is literally the other side of the road. Yeah. But yeah, you do feel from you like, how pissed off would you be? If you imagine missing the kickoff because you needed to go and get a cup of tea because you'd frozen. In the time that you had a cup of tea, your boy's just started his first game for Scotland and then got substituted because he's busted his ankle. So that's
all boys, is it?
No, it was a couple of years ago when my boy was playing. So that's what I mean. I know that they've done that for a couple of years against Scotland. So, but it is a long old trek down because they do come down on a bus. They don't fly down; they come down on a bus. Anyway, do we want to talk about the women's game again? Was there anything more to talk about? Because I got it in my notes to talk about the women's game now, and I just thought, well, we've actually done the women's game. Should we talk about how much we love the women's game a bit more, and then move on, or should we just move on and just accept that we all love the women's game?
Shall we just talk about the fact that Griffen have played 7 games and won more games than the Scarlets?
Look, I didn't realise that. That is true. Well, 2 of them were against Glasgow. Mind you, both the Scarlets are against Cardiff, so I suppose
adds up.
Yeah.
We've beaten 2 teams, one.
So let's move back on to men's stuff then. So let's move on to the Connacht game because I'll tell you a little story about the Connacht game. Well, first of all, I had the decorators in last week. And,
he's got the thunder and lightning.
Back on the iPhone, boys.
Go on, Bennett. Do that one again. Do that one just because I can't remember what does.
I think you have to go like that.
Yeah, I think it was that one. No, I think your fingers are out. Like I said, put your fingers in, your thumbs in there.
Yeah, not Spider-Man. There you go.
There you go. That was the one. Now he looks like a god.
This is for Griffen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I decorators last week. So television came off the wall and all that kind of stuff. Went to put it back up on Friday night in time for the Ospreys game. Plugged in the HDMI cable. Lovely jubbly. We're good for 5 minutes. And then I moved the telly round and I bust the HDMI cable.
Oh, why'd you do that for?
Well, it wasn't on purpose. I can assure you of that.
Did your boy leave his Xbox before he went to Arbury?
No, I happened to have a spare one in the cupboard somewhere that it took a while to
luxury
find.
Spare HDMI cables, ladies and gentlemen.
At one point, I had
I've got about 30, but they're all broke.
Anyway, so I missed most of the Ospreys game. I had to do an emergency dash to Swansea on Saturday night, so I missed the whole of the first half of the Connacht game. Second half I saw, the second half. And then, yes, I didn't see any of the Cardiff game. So half of the Scarlets game, and then obviously the Dragons game wasn't on telly. So, yeah, 4 games over the weekend, and I've seen 40 minutes. So you boys crack on and talk about the Connacht game, and when you get to half-time, I'll pitch in.
Shall we see what the people were saying first?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay, so three words.
I know what we haven't talked about. We haven't talked about Johnny McNichol. We'll do that after this. Remind me.
Oh, yes.
Write it down now. Go on, yeah.
So 3-word thoughts. I start on Facebook because that's where all the Scarlets fans are, because on Twitter you just get Ospreys and Cardiff fans.
True.
Oh God. Need for improve. Right. So there's a theme which I'm going to come to in a bit. Need for improvement is one. Things getting desperate is another. Not there yet is another. We are sinking rapidly was one.
We are sinking rapidly. That's too many, but you can't include that.
We're sinking rapidly is 3 words.
I thought you said we are. Be more concise, English boy.
There's someone called M who's left a very negative comment that I won't read.
I saw that one. Naughty.
Right, and then all the rest of the comments are about the referee.
Yeah.
So
Unsurprisingly.
let's just get it out of the way first, because it's the big talking point of the game, unfortunately.
Go ahead.
I don't think we'd have won if the decisions had gone the other way. Was this the same ref as we had against Munster?
Yes.
The one who was pinging lousy for offside for rucks that didn't exist?
And pinging him for no, that was that game. We're coming around the side of a mall on a line out and perfectly entitled to be where he was. And then the player at the back of the mall detaches, stands there and goes, "Where shall I pass the ball?" And Lousy goes, "Fucking have one of them, son." And he goes, "Penalty for offside." He wasn't offside. He was attached to the mall, and you're allowed to detach from the mall when the player at the back of the mall detaches.
Too many detaches in that sentence.
It pissed me off because it was such a simple call, and he got it wrong. But when it was the other way round, he got it right.
I don't think, obviously, that there was any kind of a bias against it as a deliberate bias. I don't think it's a fix or anything. When you are the lesser team, and this is all sport, when you are the lesser team, like 60-40s in your favour become 70-30s in the opposition's favour if the opposition are the bigger team. Like, if we played Leinster, what decisions are we getting against Leinster? Because in the referee's subconscious, it's like Leinster are good, Scarlets are bad, therefore any decisions. Like if Leinster do something, not going to think twice about it. If we do something, like if we took the lead against Leinster, referee's going, "Oh, I'm going to CMO and checking this because Scarlets shouldn't be leading Leinster." And it's just subconscious. And it's not, I'm not picking out any referees or anything. It's just human nature. It's how it goes.
But it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. A referee is there to referee the game, and you have to remove yourself from it.
This is my thing, is that I don't like, personally, my personal opinion, I don't like referees doing research on teams and talking to each other. Like the URC even encourage them to like talk to each other and go, "What should I look out for when I'm reffing this team?" And you just end up with massive confirmation bias. Yeah. And just you start seeing things that aren't there or anything marginal. I personally would rather referees know nothing about the teams that they're refereeing and just call it as they see it.
But
so with the knock on, I mean, it's, you know, the video's out there, and then the penalty try as well. I don't know, what do you guys thought? Because at the time I was absolutely raging.
I was annoyed to hell and back because we had the advantage and it was less than a second after the ball was loose. You didn't see who regathered it. You know, you need to see, when in that situation you have advantage, it hits a player, whatever. You need to see what team regathers before you blow the whistle, but he didn't do that. So we scored the try naturally that way. But even if you take it back and he does blow up, you still need to look at that. And that is a Stonewall penalty try and a yellow card. There's no ifs, no buts. There's, I've got no problems with referees making, wrong decisions in live play. It's when the TMOs come in and you can physically see it on TV. I mean, you saw Jack Price's reaction to the try being awarded. He was mega pissed off. And we had this, at the beginning of not beginning, up to halfway from last season. There seemed to be a bit of an unconscious bias against Scarlets, but thankfully we managed to put a few wins together, then that disappeared. So it goes back to what Hugh said: when a team is better or on a bit of form, your mind thinks that way, and that's what referees shouldn't be. They should be the complete opposite. They should be going in with an absolute blank slate. Yeah, but we don't get that.
You're right about the TMOs. Yes, I've been a ref, and I know the pressure that you're under, and sometimes it can be a nightmare. And sometimes you just got to say to the crowd, "Shut up." It's not a great decision to make, but you do a kind of have to all right, I can't listen to what's going on over there because they're starting to affect what I'm seeing here. You have to have that going through your head. So the TMO has got none of that. The TMO is sat in a little black box, and they purposely put them away in the other end of the car park so nobody can influence them and all of this kind of stuff. And you can take as much time as you want as a TMO to get that. The purpose of bringing in the TMO was to make those decisions correct. It was to take away the whole idea of, you can have a go at the ref. The purpose of the TMO was to protect the referee, because if the referee wasn't sure about a decision, he could ask somebody else to look at something with TV angles and this, that, and the other, and you could slow it up and you could go, right, I've seen what happens there now. This is what it was. I thought it was a try. Actually, he knocked the ball on by 3 foot just in front of me, and I missed that. Yeah. Referees miss stuff. A TMO should not be missing those stuff. A TMO should not be getting those decisions wrong.
Something nobody is talking about as well. Connacht's second try, he didn't tap it in the first half. It was a tap and go, didn't tap it.
Really? Ooh. Well, it was first half, so I can't comment because I didn't see it. But
I didn't pick that up either. So that's tries of theirs we need to rule out. One try of ours we need to put back in. So that takes 17-15 in our favour, plus 10 minutes for the yellow. There's positives to look at. But regardless of these decisions, we had more than enough opportunities to win this game. I mean, how many times will we deep in their 22 and we botched the line out?
I don't see that as a negative, Matt. At the minute, I don't see that as a negative, because at the start of the season, we weren't creating those opportunities. Do you know what I mean? Yes, in an ideal world, we should be clinically just executing those time after time after time. But at the start of the season, we weren't even close to creating those opportunities. And this is what we said changed, round about Christmas time after the Black Lion game, that actually the attacking mindset started to return. And from what I saw in the second half, even I was screaming, kick it. It was a couple of those penalties are like, just take the points, boys, because you're on top, you're dominating a lot of stuff. Just take the points while they're there, go back, do the same thing again, rinse and repeat, kick it, slot 3, come back, do the same, kick it, slot it, 3 points. Thank you very much. But I can see the style of game that we're trying to play now. I see that trying to kind of come out. I think some of the defensive stuff is starting to improve. We were more competitive. And I think the bit that you would like was we had a punch up in a scrum. And but doesn't that say to you, we've been saying all season, they don't care, players, and they're not showing enough effort, they're not showing enough spirit, they don't care and all that kind of stuff. If you don't care and somebody's burrowing on you, not coming in on an angle, you just go, I'll collapse the scrum. If you care, you stand them up and you give them a gobful and you start. And then that's what they did. They took no shit. They went, right, you're having this back, son. And that was the impressive bit for me there, that they actually stood up and went, you're having some of this back.
It was the best front row performance of the season. And Wyn Jones, to be fair, we've given some stick a couple of times. I'll let Mark talk about this mostly, but Wyn Jones, his best game all season, comfortably. So we'll just call the stats, so, well, props don't carry very much. But Sean Evans' stats were unbelievable. So I posted these on Twitter before. So Sean Evans, 72 minutes, 5 carries, 23 meters, 20 out of 21 tackles, 2 line breaks. He was our top line break person with 2. 3 passes and an offload, 2 defenders beaten, and 0 turnovers lost. And part of 100% scrum as well.
He's an open side. That's why he can't throw into the line out. We're not going to add those stats in because it'd probably be a bit embarrassing.
Yeah, someone when I posted the stats did reply, "What about his line out stats?" And I'm thinking, why you got to be like that? But Sam Wainwright as well, proving a few people wrong at the moment.
Yeah, well, I've said for a while, Sam he's a lot better off the ball than he is in the scrum. And fair play to the boy, he anchored that scrum really well, and he allowed Wyn Jones just to go to town. And like you said, it's not even Wyn Jones' best game this season. It's his best game since 2021. We haven't seen anything like that from him in a good few years. And after that little scuffle, and people might not like this, but rewatching on the camera angles, you can see as they connect and that ball goes in, Wyn tucks his head straight under the tight end's chest and pops him up.
Yeah.
Perfect. Referee standing there, doesn't see a bloody thing. Oh,
but he was up.
You
like
just love
that.
stuff like that. It was absolutely.
But
he just threw him straight up, stuck his head straight in the sternum, and you know what? Fuck off.
Yeah, I have one of them. And that's what I mean. And it's very easy to look at that game and say, oh, there's negative points and all. Yes, there are negative points here. But if you're just going to look at the negatives, go watch England, because there's tons of them there. Yeah. If we're going to watch the game, then you've almost got to dig for some of the negatives, the positives at some point. But the more we talk about the positives, the more we talk about stuff's going right, the more we talk about so and so did something well, so and so does something else well. People respond to positive praise more than they respond to negative. Yeah, if you tell someone this shit, they'll go, oh, "Fuck you," and walk off. If you tell them, do you know what? That scrum, there were like 3 scrums there. You had 5 scrums today, 3 of them absolutely ding dong perfect. If we could have had those other 2 scrums like those 3, you were absolutely bang on top of the world. Yeah. If you tell them you were shit in 2 scrums, they're not going to listen to you. And we have to kind of think about how people are when you're on the pitch, and what you're saying to people and what is coming through matters. And when you're off the pitch, it probably matters more because they hear it more. So, yeah, if people want to go and be negative about the game, by all means. But for me, there were bits there that we could improve on. But actually, I've seen a lot of improvement from earlier in the season. That's my point.
Fafita had another great game. The only reason I didn't do my stats post about Fafita is for variety, because I could just do it by every game. If Fafita was Welsh, she would be in the Six Nations squad starting every game for Wales.
Yeah.
Fafita could be any nationality. He'd be in every team bar in the All Blacks. That's literally it. That's how good he is at the minute.
Well, I think he'd be tearing up in Super Rugby. I don't know if anyone's watched any Super Rugby lately, but I think Fafita in that league would look. Reece Patchell has gone over there and is looking like an absolute god. So.
But Steve Jones has gone over there and look what he's done to Moana. They were nowhere near last season.
Yeah. I've got to be honest. Dan Jones hasn't really had the desired effect since he's come back in.
No. I'm glad you picked that up, because I know we are big fans of Charlie Titcombe, and one thing that he possesses more than any of our other fly-offs, even Costello, is he has got a kicking game to rival the gods. That torpedo puts on was made for Galway weather. I don't know why he wasn't put in, even knowing, You know, the chances are we're going to be against the wind in one half. You know, stick him in there. You know, if he was on first half,
yeah,
you know, where we were kicking to touch, we were getting 15 meters max. You know, the way he kicks the ball, his style, they would have still gone 25, 30 meters easy. You know, his style of kicking is immaculate. I love it. You know, especially his Gary Owens. I love his proper Gary Owen where it torpedoes it up and it just comes down and it is so forceful when who you probably wouldn't know, but Lee knows. You get a torpedo coming down at you. You're like, shit, how am I gonna catch that? Because if your basket is even slightly open, you were like, shit, that's gone.
You go, where's my fullback? That's what you're doing. You go, this is not my job. Well, this is what we have a fullback for. Why the fuck am I looking up at a ball? And if you're chasing it as a number 8, you're going, I'm having someone's ribs here. Someone's ribs are going as he catches this. This is great.
The fact he came on in the 72nd minute when the game was lost.
Same as Archie. You know,
I think we need to be patient with them. But I know it's frustrating, but they are the future. And yes,
but this season's supposed to be about building the future. Everything they always say every time we lose a game is we're playing these kids for the future. Every time one of the kids plays well, they lose their place in the team.
It just doesn't make sense. Like we don't even know if Dinky's going to be here next season. So how are we building if we let a player go in at 10 that's not going to be here?
And that was going to be my point. That Dinky, that's his third game back from injury. Second, yeah. So second competitive game. He played Exeter, didn't he?
So why isn't he on the bench and Tickham starting?
So there's obviously something there somewhere that we need to.
It's because Tickham actually kicks the ball, which obviously Dwayne is allergic to.
But that comes back to the type of game that we're starting to play.
Since we've changed our game plan, which we have done, our territory has just gone through the beginning of the season. It was building. Now we've changed since Black Lion, and our territory has just gone out the window.
Yeah, but actually, we're playing a lot better, and the games are getting closer and closer and closer. Yeah, so it may not be perfect, but the style of game that we're trying to play, that running, handling, open, free game, is starting to pay off.
The backs barely touched the ball in this game. I'm sorry, Lee, but I've got the stats for the backs, and they barely touched it. Tommy Lewis had 3 carries.
We had 2 big centres who are used to crash balling, who are used to breaking tackles, and we just did not use them whatsoever. Dinky's a good distributor. He's not the best in the world. We know that. He's a solid URC, Challenge Cup level 10. We're not shipping the ball out as well as we should. We're not punching those holes. We're not creating those deft touches like Joe Roberts tried against Munster. The decoy crash ball pop up. It's those little things that we can do.
We're not. This has come down to the fact that we've got no set plays, which means that we don't bring our best players into the game. So, if you look at all our highlights from the end of last year, Sam Lousey's in most of them. Do you know how many meters Sam Lousey made in this game?
None.
I
didn't even know that. I just guessed because I barely saw him touch the ball.
But then he's going to have games like that. He is going to have games like that.
It was the same the other games.
He's captain.
He is.
He's bloody captain.
And
how can you be captain as a forward and make no meters?
I don't think that being a captain is doing him any good.
No, but we've got a leadership vacuum in the pack, though. Who's the captain?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't think, with the type of game that Lousey plays, since he's been made captain in a couple of games, he does just seem to disappear and be quiet. And I don't know if the two are linked, or it just happens to be that he's been taken out of the games in the last couple of games.
Why is he not playing second row? I don't get it.
We have a shortage of back row. I mean, Jared Taylor, 40 minutes in a Scar jersey, injured.
Yeah, injured.
Apparently hobbled off.
Is Ben Williams injured?
Ben Williams was on the bench, wasn't he?
On the bench.
Did he even get on?
This is what I'm saying. No, he did. I think he did because. Sorry, go on.
And you got Tua Pilotu, who is fit because he played for the Quins, and against Exeter. So we had Ben Williams, who could have gone in at 6, Lousy dropped back into the row, and we could have had Tuipulotu on the bench.
Jack
When
Price had a great game,
realistically,
to be fair. Jack Price had a very good game.
I'd come on to him now. Tuipulotu should really be our starting 8 by this point. You know, this was all built up for him. You know, he's a big lad, heavy boy. He's like 125k, something like that. He doesn't seem to have the mindset for contact, for aggression. It's just not there with him for whatever reason. And, you know, he had Callum Mahoney with him for a good few years to learn, and it's just not worked. And as good as Fafita is, his work rate and his skill set is more of a 6 than an 8, and everyone can agree with that. So what he's doing is brilliant, but we haven't got a person doing the job of a number 8.
And I'm just thinking if he goes to Montpellier, we'll have lost Kassim, Callum Mahoney, and Fafita in back-to-back seasons. I'm sorry for being negative. I'm sorry for bringing it down. Eddie James was amazing again because he's an amazing player, and he's got to. The sooner that he gets in the Wales national team, the better. If everyone's
the worst,
no. Let him have a good couple of seasons for us first to find his feet. Yeah.
We need to come up with set plays to get the ball into the hands of our best players, and we're just not doing it at the moment. Like I said, the backs barely touch the ball.
No, another forward that you just touched on. Like I said earlier, Jack Price was really pissed off for that team. Says, I give him the captaincy based off that and based off his performance. What do you make, like 24 tackles? His work rate.
Yeah, 24 out of 26.
His work rate has seemed to have gone through the roof, you know, in these last few weeks. And even Morgan Jones coming on made a big impact. You know, his carrying was, I don't know how many meters he made post-contact, but it looked effective. He was trying to go through everything, you know, and okay, these boys were probably picked up a few years ago. They're our future, blah, blah, blah. They seem to have stalled a bit for whatever reason. But now, in this game, I'd happily say if we had Morgan Jones and Jack Price as our starting, you know, locks from next game, obviously, I know we got Craig and Lousy and whatever, but I wouldn't be bothered. I'd say, you know, if those boys are on form, they play like they did against Connacht, and we're happy, we're good, we're solid.
I think we're definitely improve it. It's not at the rate that we want them to improve at, but there's improvement in areas that we needed to improve on. You know, I'd be happy I'd be happy if we just managed to defend around tight rocks at the minute. That's where we leak tries.
Something I would like to do is not concede a try in the first.
Yeah,
we've done that in 50% of our games this season, and that's not a hyperbolic stat. That's a fact.
Yeah. We spoke 2 weeks ago about, you know, our defense against Munster. How for 60 minutes we were well in that game. After this game, we were just falling off tackles for fun, and they were they were making, you know, massive breaks. I know that there were a few tip-ons and that, which did cause us a lot of problems. But our first up tackling in that first 20 minutes was woeful.
It's cool. It's cool putting on good performances when you're already 2 scores down. We need to stop being 2 scores down within 10 minutes, which seems to happen more often than not. I just want to quickly shout out the Scarlets fans who went to Galway, because we could hear you on telly singing hymns and arias, etc. Fantastic. Galway's a great trip. If anyone hasn't been, fireworks from Mark. If anyone hasn't been to Galway, definitely go. Fantastic place. I love Ireland generally. I could happily live in Ireland. And yeah, I just hope everyone had a great trip. And, you know, reports that we take more fans to away games than Ospreys bring to home games are unconfirmed. I can't say whether that's definitely true. It doesn't sound true, but someone said it. Okay. So,
yeah.
Someone also said, without giving away free tickets, Cardiff can't sell out cap.
No. They did sell it out. It's just the capacity was only 7,000 this week.
They reduced the capacity to however many people turned up. Right, let's not start going down that one. Let's finish on a Scarlets positive with Johnny McNichol, and then we will talk about the Wales game very briefly.
How is that a positive?
Well,
how is it a positive?
The memories are positive.
The memories, and you know, if you ask any Ospreys fan, they'll sit there and quite happily slag him off for half an hour and all that kind of stuff.
It's because he's able to beat defenders and make line breaks, which they haven't seen a back do in the last 10 years.
No, I know. They get confused when people run with the ball and don't kick it. So it's, yeah. I mean, for me, it's just his ability to offload. He didn't look like a particularly traditional fast player. Do you know what I mean? He's got a bit of a weird kind of gait to the way he runs, but he was quick. He was well nippy, and he just had this way of offloading really, really effectively into hands. Yeah, and I think that is easy enough to offload and just throw the ball everywhere. He would offload two people, and I think that was the difference. So for me, yeah, I mean, the guy was some of the best memories you have over the last couple of years at the Scarlets involved Johnny McNichol every time. So for me, big loss.
He was a massive, big game player, and he came out in every big game we ever had. And okay, this one probably isn't one of the biggest games, but it was 2017-18 season. We drew with Leinster. You know, it was quite early on in the season. I think it was around October, November time. You know, I might be in the internationals, and he just played out of his skin. And it is one of my best. I know he scored a hat-trick in the final that year, but his all-round performance that game, I can still remember it, and just made me think, Jesus Christ, what a player we've got, and what a player Wales will have. And I have no idea what happened there. You know, he's a massive playmaker. He makes line breaks for fun.
He should have been Wales's Mac Hansen. He's a typical Kiwi. He thinks 2 steps ahead. He's not, I'm going to beat this man, so I've beaten him. He's like, I'm going to beat this man so that I, like you said, he just came in and he just sort of, as soon as he arrived, people were like, how long until he's qualified for Wales? Like he made that 15 jersey his own. No one begrudges him.
Sanjay on the wing. They put Sanjay on the freaking wing.
Liam Williams on the wing to put Johnny McNichol at fullback. Still crazy that we had Sanjay, Hilly Halfpenny, and Johnny McNichol on the books all at the same time. Anyway, so yeah, just I put up the highlight clips. My highlight clips was better than the Scarlets highlight clips for Johnny McNichol. Just want to say that. I put up the highlight clips for him in the final where he scored a hat-trick. Of course, there was Ospreys fans in the comments. All upset about it. Of course, there were. So
Ospreys fans spend more time on our feed than they do on their own feed. When the Ospreys pod puts up stuff, it gets nowhere near the amount of interaction or comments from Ospreys supporters that our comments do. So yeah,
you can go on some Ospreys fans' Twitter pages and it's all tweets about the Scarlets. They don't tweet about the Ospreys. They only tweet about the Scarlets.
You know what the best thing about Ospreys fans? If you tell them their team are good, they do not like it.
No, they don't.
They think you're taking the piss or something. You know why? You've got a good pack. You know, we've all made posts saying, you know, okay, Ospreys were actually pretty good in that game, fair play. And they ripped the shit. What do you mean we were good?
So anyway, so I put the clip up of Johnny McNichol's historic performance in the Pro 14 final over in Dublin against Leinster, the Leinster team that won the double that year, by the way.
The unstoppable Leinster took us out in the Euro semis. That was our European Cup, you know.
Yeah,
understand.
And yeah, European semi-final. Does anybody know much about them? Anyway, moving on. So we got, and he was fantastic. That Scott Williams try at the end. I remember the Scott Williams break that Johnny McNichol finished off between them up the touchline. I remember there, like when I watched that, thinking, you know, we lost, but I couldn't be prouder of this team. This is such a great team. And you know, it all fell apart a season after that, but McNichol was unplayable in that final, and like I said, put the highlights up, and the numbers on it have been fantastic on TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. People have loved it. So I just hope, you know, nobody begrudges him leaving, because we're all pretty sure we know where he's gone, and it's where he came from. And you look, I'm sure he's at that age where he's thinking about where he wants him and his family to be. And look, if you get that opportunity, who's saying no?
I'm just going to say the biggest disaster of Johnny McNichol's career is how he was never at the World Cup. A player of his stature and his quality should have been there. And Lee Halfpenny has been brilliant throughout the years, but all he does is defend and kick at goal. There's no reason why Johnny McNichol shouldn't have at least been involved in the training camps, and he would have forced his way through, no problem. I just don't understand why there was, so much dislike for him, especially from Pivac, who, brought him over. There's a whole game around him.
Yeah,
he wanted to avoid the tag of you're only playing your own players and all that. Anyway, so
who gives a shit?
We were really good.
Playing well, and
I know. I agree, but that was the mistake you made. So Hugh put up a post saying what are your favourite memories of Johnny McNichol. So Johan Harris said it has to be the hat-trick of tries in the Pro 14 final. Some guy called Carl was a dick. Delith Bevan said, good luck for future exploits. David Price wishes him good luck. Mark Thomas says he's a great player, great servant. Patty says, good luck, thank you, Johnny. Rob Vaughan says he's a great servant. Like most Kiwi backs, his attack-minded style was a joy to watch. Good luck to him. Should never have played for Wales, though. You were doing so well up to that point, Rob. I mean, anyway. And then Henry says his consistency playing at such a high level all the time. He's been the only standout performer for the Scarlets this season. Wishing him well for the rest of his journey in the game. It's and there's lots.
I raise you
of
a Joe Roberts, but I appreciate the sentiment.
Alex Craig.
Alex Craig.
But there's lots of other stuff on other places. The bit I say about not playing for your home country and all of that kind of stuff. Jonathan Davis was born in Manchester. Scott Williams was born just outside Manchester. Let's not get too picky about where players were born and where they choose to play their rugby. 8 years he played for us, 8 seasons. So let's not be too picky about that.
And I can comment on this. I've got 2 Welsh parents. The families lived in the same street for about 6 generations, probably back to when they were first built. I was born in Germany.
Yeah. Did you? Oh, didn't know that.
You listen to my accent. Would you say I'm not Welsh? It doesn't matter.
But your eyes are too close together. I've always had my suspicions.
Well, I got blonde hair, blue-eyed daughters. So what does that say?
Oh dear, oh dear.
God, we're heading down a rabbit hole.
I forgot what I was going to say now.
We're talking about Johnny McNichol.
Oh yeah, and I was going to say was when he's tearing it up down in Super Rugby and he's scoring tries for fun, you better believe that we're claiming them as Scarlets tries.
Like we do with Tad Burn.
I know the chances.
Yes.
I know the chances are that he's going home to Canterbury and to Crusaders, but wouldn't it just be lovely if, for whatever reason, he ended up at the Highlanders? Imagine that. That would just be beautiful.
He will end up.
Well, he's already there with well, we assume he's going to be there with Halfpenny in the physio room.
Yeah, keeping the physios busy.
Talking about, that's going to be funny as well, isn't it? Imagine Crusaders sign Liam Williams and they'll have the Scarlets.
Oh, Scarlets backline.
Scarlets trifecta of wasted money.
Right, let's
Oh, that was harsh.
Let's before we get ourselves into any more trouble, boys. Let's finish on a little bit about the Wales game. And just a couple of predictions and expectations for this weekend. Obviously, not going to be that much Scarlet involvement in it. Costello,
and Hardy probably, and Elias on the bench.
Well, my point has been for the last 2 weeks that we need a pack that is going forward, and I've got no idea what's going on with his line-out throwing, but we need to be able to scrummage, because in that first half against...
Am I the only one in Wales that wants to see David Jenkins and Teddy Williams together?
Dab Jenkins and who?
Teddy Williams.
I like them both. They're both good. I've got nothing against them. I still think Will Rowlands is a better player than Dav Jenkins.
Yeah, I've got no doubt about that. But I've always been of the mind that you finish the game with your best 15 rather than start it. But that's just me personally. But I'd like to see those two put together because I'll be honest, Adam Beard, he's just not doing anything. And I don't know if you're watching these WRU snippets of, in the dressing room. I think it was halftime. He gave a speech and it fell flatter than a pancake. I mean, he's supposed to be one of the leaders.
Yeah, Ospreys fans are really happy with look who's giving the halftime speech. Yeah. For me,
give an hour-long seminar on line-out calling.
Yeah.
How hard can it be?
Well, I think this is
throwing's quite difficult. You'd be surprised because you got to know the height of your lifters and your jumper. You need to know exactly where they're going to be in the line. It's not as simple as just throwing a ball, but they do spend enough time together. And
I'm talking more about calling it. Surely you have like 5 pre-arranged calls and go that one.
No.
Oh no, Christ, no!
You have a series of numbers.
At least 5 calls for front, middle, and back, and devolve with numbers and letters and whatever you're using, names even.
It does sound complicated. Maybe that's why Welsh teams are so bad at it.
Yeah, it's a bit like an NFL playbook where you can jump at. I used to have a line-out call. You jump at number 1, so number 2 was lifting, and you'd literally throw him up that way. It was really bizarre. It worked, really worked.
My last time playing, it was a series of numbers, and it was the 3rd number in that is where we're going, and we just had to work it out on the fly. But, so me and my other prop, we'd probably start one at the front, one at the back. I was normally at the front, and then we just crash in wherever we were lifting.
But if you jump
I know where the ball's going. For Wales, Wainwright's catching it, and for Scarlets, Fafita's catching it.
Yeah, there is a bit. But you can be, even as a middle jumper, you're jumping up, going forward, jumping up, going back, jumping straight. If you're a front line, you can jump forward and low. You can jump forward and high. You've got little crossover things. Because
before they do the line out,
yeah,
a guy goes over to the hooker and whispers something in his ear, like, "You throw it, we'll catch it." Right? And he goes, "Okay, good idea." And then they do another shout. I'm exposing the fact I've never played rugby.
Yeah.
So, and then they do the lineouts, and then there's another shout between them. Then
the whole purpose, right, of the delayed line is that you don't give the opposition an opportunity to see what you're doing. You don't. So you might put a jumper in at 2, you might put the jumper in at 3, you might put the jumper in at 4. Yeah, if you stand it like we used to do back in the good old days, back when I was a little boy. But you'd stand in the same place. So I was either a number 2 jumper or I was a tail gunner. Yeah. So if it was going front ball, that's a 2 jump, middle ball a 4, back of the line 6, off the tail was 7. Yeah. So, but you'd all be in the same place. And it came about by accident where somebody was injured and they were, Wales started it. Somebody went down injured and they said, right, well, there's a line out next. This is what we'll do. They went into the line out, didn't give the opposition a chance to move around, up, out, gone. And they went, oh, that worked well. Did the same in the next line out. Went, fucking hell, they can't jump against us because they don't know who's going where. And that's where it came from. So the whole point of doing that is you go in, step up. Yeah, you shouldn't need that second call. The whole purpose is to go in, one, up, and the line goes. Yeah.
Why is there a second call?
There shouldn't be a second call.
Because obviously back in the day, people can switch off now. This is a different chat. Back in the day, it was just like, and I love seeing those old clips because they always look like they're dead concentrating with the 2 hands and things, and then they just go and just lob it and see where it goes. But like when lifting come in, we did one day one team lift someone and everyone went,
New Zealand.
What do we do about that?
New Zealand started lifting.
And it just the next day rugby was changed forever.
No, what it was you weren't allowed to lift. So what they used to do is they used to stand really, really close. Yeah. So you'd still stand up like you were, and then as they jumped, you kind of lean in and push like that. So when two of you lean in and push, you the natural thing is up like that. So you'd be
The
like,
volcano effect.
yeah, you'd be on each other's shoulders, and then somebody went, "That's real dangerous." Like, yeah, but he's 6 foot in the air. Look at that, and he's on my shoulder. Look at that. So we went, right, okay, you're allowed to hold the player. So then they went to holding the player. But if the player is in the air, you're allowed to support the player, but he had to get there on his own. So then you went in even closer and literally lifted by his shorts. You went, oh yeah, I've got him. He's in the air like that. And then they just, do you know what? There's no way on earth we're gonna be able to do this. So then they went, right, okay, now you're allowed to lift. So it kind of evolved into this bit where you can lift, but we should be practicing that. It's not a difficult thing to practice, and I don't understand why. Yeah, it is a timing thing. It's a, the guy jumping has got to time it with a guy throwing. So pretty much by a Tuesday, Gatlin knows this is going to be my 2 line-out options. My 2 hookers on Saturday are going to be, or Sunday, are going to be these 2. So they just spend time going, right, okay, front 1, front 2, front 3, middle 1, middle 2. Do you know what I mean? It's not, you don't need to think too much about it. And you can put your fancy moves in and all of that kind of stuff, but it's just throwing the ball in the right place at the right time. And we should be doing that in our sleep, and I don't get why we can't. So anyway, the point being, I don't know how we started on that, because I was going to make the point that we need a big...
Who asked the question because of his lack of knowledge?
Yeah. So anyway, let's get back to Wales versus France. And let's get
we're talking about line-out calling.
Yeah, let's get some predictions for Wales France, because I think we just need a bigger pack. And I've said countless number of times, George North is not a 13. He needs to come off a wing and relieve some of the pressure off a 10. And if Ospreys fans don't like it, all well and good, because when George North said he was leaving the Ospreys just fucking went for his jugular and went, well, he's a bag of shit and nobody likes him anyway.
He's Scarlet first, like most Ospreys players.
Exactly. So my point is, if you're going to put George North on the pitch, at least get him doing the stuff that he's good at, which is running at people with a ball in his hands. And that was my point. So I've gone for France by 1, because it winds Jamie up on the rap on something chronic. When I go, someone's going to win by 1. It's just, I don't know why, it's a trigger point for Jamie. So now I've got to stick with it on here. So France by 1 is my prediction.
I think it's because you're saying 1 and he's not used to,
He's not used to the word. Hugh, your prediction?
France are getting worse. France are on a decline, and Wales are getting better. So I think Wales are going to win. I think Wales. You two aren't going to like this. I think what Gatlin's been able to turn this rabble into in a very short space of time is quite impressive. Oh, I've frozen again.
No.
You did for all now you have.
Yeah, now you have. He's clever. Or let's just pretend that he's made something up.
I'm back now.
We're going to lose by 30.
I'm back.
So, we'll move on.
So I was just saying, I think Wales have improved, as they always do in every campaign under Gat. Always start stronger, always finish stronger than we started. So I think that this is going to be a bit of a moment for this team, and I think we'll win this by 3, and it's going to be something like 19-16.
I think it's going to be a
16-9. We normally beat France 16-9 in Cardiff.
Yeah, we've done that a couple of times. I think it's going to be a really close game. Could go either way.
Yeah.
So, Mart?
I think it's going to be a bit more than our France have been. There's no word without Dupont. I mean, Dupont's on fire in the sevens. I mean, France have just won their first 7 series bloody championship in 19 years. He's just turned up and just won everything.
Well, what's the France backline going to be? It's going to be either Luku or Legarec, Ramos at 10, Moefana at 12, Fiku at 13, obviously, and then at fullback, I don't know.
Biel Barret? Will he be
anyway?
No, he's a winger. I don't know.
Martin, your prediction.
I'll
Focus,
go,
boys, focus. Come on.
I'll go Wales by 9 because I just think this France side can't do anything. I think if we're going to more kick them to death than actually run over the try line, but it is what it is.
Cool. Okay, so I want to bring back something I started a couple of weeks ago because I said about doing my dad jokes. So I'm going to finish on a couple of dad jokes. Don't you liked this last time? You laughed last time. So Martin, you get to pick one, right? So just pick one.
Am I going to do it again?
Yeah, you're an arsehole. Right, Hugh.
When?
All right. Okay. So Hugh's joke. I'm just going
to because of the delay lag of the Wi-Fi. It doesn't really matter when I say when. Just as long as I say it.
Okay. What do you call a fish wearing a bow tie?
Hang on, we did this before. We've had this one.
Did I have that one? What are the odds that that one would?
Have we done this twice and we've already had the same joke?
How does a farmer?
How many more jokes in the entire pack?
How does a farmer mend his overalls? Puts cabbage patches on. Okay, right, that's that one. Your faces have just—that's the funny bit for me.
You know what? I can beat that one straight off the top of my head. Why did a farmer win the Nobel Prize? He was outstanding in the field. Look at
Right, Martin, say stop at some point.
Stop.
Right.
I said stop earlier than that.
Don't care. Why were the early days of history called the Dark Ages? Because there were so many nights.
Oh.
Right, I'm
got any historians listening? They'll be all angry because you're not supposed to call it the Dark Ages anymore. James will be furious with his history degree.
Right, I'm separating them out so that next week I can do that. I've got a whole pack of cards to get through, boys. This is going to take some.
You need to pick a few favourites to do the top, because if we get a couple of shit ones like that, we need a good one to finish off on.
No, that's the whole point of a dad joke, is to be dreadfully awful. So
I heard a good joke. I heard a good joke the other week, but all I can remember is that I thought it was a good joke. I can't remember what the joke was.
That helps you. That's really bloody helpful, that is, mate.
You know, right. I hear good jokes all the time, but they're not very key. So,
right, we will be back next week. Okay, so I just wanted to let people know that if they wanted to have a little,
I won't be. I'll be in Spain.
You'll be in Spain next week in your speedos. So if you're really dedicated to, oh fucking, why do I put up with you?
I love it.
If you really want to get a march on everybody else, like we'll like release this. So I'll edit this tonight and it'll be published Monday night. Yeah, so it's out. It's available Monday night, but we don't tell anyone that it's out. It's just kind of there. So if you've got your wee little notification set up to say, let me know when this podcast is coming, then you'll get a little notification that says that this one is out. So
this one won't be out tonight.
This is going to take a lot of editing tonight, boys, I'll be fair. But yeah, otherwise it'll be out Tuesday. We'll be back next week. Me and Mark will be discussing the Wales game against France. Plenty of community stuff to look forward to. We'll be looking forward
all around the fixtures, happy days.
Yeah, and we'll be looking forward to the Italy game. We'll be doing some more Griff's Grumps, and we'll be doing some more dad jokes.
And in 2 weeks, who is coming on the show and speaking only Spanish?
In his Speedos. I'm looking forward to it. I'm thinking that's going
to... Let's make this clear. Just his Speedos. Not even going to die, Cap.
While we're on that, then the other... I said about doing the Beyonce dance, which I have recorded. It is there. It is available. So I will publish that when we reach 200. We're on about 176 now, but I only said it on this podcast. I didn't say it on any of the others, and some of the other boys have heard it, and have gone, well, you were keeping that quiet, so now they're starting to tell people as well. So
2024 subscribers to go to see Lee get naked.
there's nothing naked about it. It's just a Beyonce. Have you seen the Beyonce? Oh, I give
You
up
said
it.
you've done it naked.
I'm not doing it naked, Martin. That would just
You
be
did.
that I would crash the
Don't lie
internet
now.
in a bad way. Anyway, I'll do the Beyonce.
It would voluntarily self-destruct.
we go, yeah, for the sake of everyone's humanity, we're not going to work today. Right, gents, it's been a pleasure as always. We shall be back and do this again next week. Have a good one. All the best. Ta-da.
Go on, lads.
Thank you for listening to the Scarlets Fever podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. Please subscribe, rate and review wherever you listen to us, as it really helps us spread the word. You can find us on all the usual social media channels or email us on welshregionalrugbypod@gmail.com. And remember, whatever the question, rugby is always the answer.
Sports Social Podcast Network.